probably the calls that I get or the priorities that I hear from the commissioners and others more often than not include streets. We all drive on the streets. We all want the best streets we can get. Our challenge is we have limited resources and streets cost a lot of money. The good news is I want to talk to you about 3 different ways, 3 different programs that we do our part to provide better streets for all of us to drive on. One of them is the kind of street that I call a complete rebuild or reconstruction. That's what people think of. That's what's going on 10th Street as that street is finished up, or what's getting ready to happen on Cleveland and what's already happened from Chestnut up to the railroad tracks. Complete rebuild on a street with concrete or asphalt. That takes a lot of time to design, even to the tune of can take up to a year, sometimes longer, and it takes typically millions of dollars to do anything substantial. So that is an important program, but that takes a lot of money. So we do a few streets every year, and we focus on our 5-year street repair or replacement list that we have developed over the years. We have a software tool that we go out and check pavement quality. We also look at the number of people impacted, traffic counts on the street, and there's different kinds of those streets that we address, like the one Cleveland and 10th I would classify as arterial streets. There's a lot of traffic on those streets. 10th Street might be considered a collector street, which is in between a local street and an arterial, because it does go into a neighborhood. Those take a lot of time and effort to develop, but we're doing a lot of those as we go. Our asphalt overlay program is new. It started about 5 years ago when we put the street back in the street department. We went out and bought some equipment. The commission authorized and approved that. And kudos to Ashley Humphrey and her crews. They do our asphalt streets in the city on streets that typically don't have curbs, that are asphalt to begin with, that aren't total base failures. We could take those on, and there's evidence all over the city. You see new asphalt, we probably laid it, including recent examples, Wheat Ridge Road, which is a mile. It's one we did. Willow from Garland out to Wheat Ridge, we've done recently, and there's many others in neighborhoods. You will see many press releases over the course of a year. We also have a 5-year program for asphalt, where again, we're looking at pavement quality, we're looking at how many people live there, we're looking at complaints that we get, and we're doing our best to order streets. And I realize I got the best of both worlds with this list, because I know it's good, it just depends on your point of view. If your street's near the top, it's really good. If your street's down the list, it's not quite as good, but we're going to get to you. And if your street's not even on that 5-year list, call us, because we'll check it out and we'll get it on a list eventually. So that's the good news with that asphalt program. It's fantastic. Cost-wise, stewardship-wise, it's probably the best program we have, bang for the buck, because asphalt, in the whole scheme of things, we budget about $1 million a year in asphalt, and then we have labor in the street department budgeted separately, and we're going to be paying that whether those folks are mowing or grading or putting up, taking down barricades. And we have 2 priorities in our street department, 2 prime directives: lay asphalt, grade unimproved roads. Doesn't mean it's the only thing we do. As you know, we got to mow, we got to fill potholes, we got a street sweeper, but those are the 2 things, and I think we're making massive improvements. The 3rd program is the concrete repair program. Larry LaRue manages that program. He does a fantastic job. It's an outsourced program. Larry is our resident expert on concrete. He's been doing it a long time. He marks the bad spots. We have a 5-year project list for that. So everybody knows concrete lasts a long time. We like concrete streets, but over time, especially in Oklahoma with our weather extremes, concrete buckles. It buckles at seams, develops cracks when the base wasn't good, and other issues. But overall, most concrete streets will last 50 to 100 years. Now, pieces of them over time will become bad. The great thing is with this program, we can take and replace a couple panels or 10 panels or 15 panels. Good example is over on Ramona, right off of Van Buren. I think we're working about 500 plus feet of bad street coming off of asphalt. That's a really old concrete street in the Indian Hills addition. It's going to be wonderful, and other residents over there are going to love it. That's a pretty cost-effective program. We spend about $1 million a year on that too. So to summarize, 3 programs: complete street rebuild that goes through engineering, takes a long time, a lot of money. Wonderful streets when we get them done. Asphalt, we get a lot of streets done, it makes a lot of people happy. It's got to be the right type of street. It's got to be asphalt, typically no curbs. We don't typically take on arterials on that. And then our concrete repair program. I'm very excited to say we've spent, I'm going to say 15 million plus, and it's probably more than that. And we're going to keep on spending more because nothing makes people happier than fixing streets. Other than tearing down pot farms.